Greetings, mates. This is Esteban Mauricio. We are going to be talking about present simple. What is present simple? Is it only about our daily life? Or is it about something more? Let's have a look. What is the present simple tense for? We use the present simple tense when the action is general, the action happens all the time or habitually, in the past or future. The action is not only happening now. This statement is always true. What this means is that it's something we do as a routine, something we do constantly throughout the week, throughout the month, throughout the year. It's something of a sort of repetition. All right? So, and it's always something true. All right? Okay, so the statement is always true. How do we make the present simple tense? It's quite simple, actually. All we need is the subject. We add it to the auxiliary verb do, plus the main verb. So, let's look at these examples with the main verb like. Let's look at the affirmatives here. In the subject, we have I, you, we, they. No auxiliary verb. Alright, for affirmatives, no auxiliary verb. So, I like coffee. You like coffee. Alright? Then we have he, she, it, which is known as third person. When we have third person, the main verb is going to carry an S or an ES. Alright? We'll look at the SES spelling later on in the video. So, he likes coffee. She likes coffee. Alright? Now, as for the negatives, again, I, you, we, they. But this time, we have something extra. We have the auxiliary verb and not for the negative. Okay, so they do not like coffee. For third person, let's look at it. So it does. As you can see, the does carries the ES. Alright? So the main verb is going to remain untouched in its natural state. So, it does not like coffee. As for the interrogative, the question, we're going to do something different. We're going to put first the auxiliary verb here, do or does, followed by the subject. Alright? And this is going to be the structure for questions. So first auxiliary, then subject. So, do I like coffee? Do you like coffee? Does he like coffee? Does she like coffee? Now, look at the examples with the main verb be. We're going to notice that there is no auxiliary. Alright, so let's look at the affirmatives again. Here we have the subject and then the main verb. So, affirmative. I am Colombian. You are French. He is American. Okay. With the negatives, I am not old. You are not young. He is not old. So, after the verb to be, we are going to add not. Now, for questions, we're going to place the verb first, the verb to be first, then the subject. Okay. So, am I late? Are you early? Is she hungry? Very easy, right? For the third person singular, he, she, it, we add s to the main verb or es to the auxiliary. So let's look at some rules. So A, we're going to add s for most verbs. So work becomes works, buy becomes buys, ride rides, return returns. B, add es for words that end in ch, s, sh, x, or z. So let's look at watch. Watch will become watches, pass passes, rush rushes, relax relaxes, and buzz buzzes. We're going to change the y to I and add es when the base form ends in a consonant plus y. Let's look at study. For example, as you can see, study is S-T-U-D-Y. D is a consonant, and we have y. Because it's consonant plus y, or simply, if the word ends in y, we're going to change the y to I and add es. So, study becomes studies, hurry becomes hurries, and dry becomes dries. Here's an exception. Do not change the y when the base form ends in a vowel plus y. All we do is simply add s. Let's look at play. Okay, so it's P-L-A-Y, play. As you can see, the A here is a vowel plus y. So because it ends in a vowel plus y, it's going to be plays with one S. Alright? All we do is add S. Enjoy becomes enjoys. There are a few verbs that have irregular forms. Be is, do is does, go is goes, have has. Now, let's look at adverbs of frequency. This is how often you do something, alright, with a certain amount of repetition. So, adverbs of frequency are used to say how often something happens. Here is a list of the most common adverbs of frequency, starting with never, when frequency is 0, and finishing with always, when frequency is 100%. So here it is. Here are the adverbs. Alright. Here are the frequencies. Okay, so least frequent and most frequent. So let's start with never. Never is 0%. Followed by rarely, seldom, hardly ever, occasionally, and sometimes. Then we have generally, often, regularly, frequently, usually, and always. These are the most common adverbs of frequency that we are going to use. Now, the position of these adverbs is before the main verb. So let's look at an example here. I always get up at 6:45. Always is my adverb of frequency, and get up is my verb. Alright, so adverb of frequency first, then the verb. Let's look at the next example. Peter can usually play football on Sundays. And Mandy has sometimes got lots of homework. Quite simple, yeah? Now, after a form of to be, am, are, is, or, was, were. So, in the example, we will observe Susan is never late. So if it's the verb to be, the to be comes first, followed by the adverb of frequency. Always. Now, let's look at some more rules here. Just basic rules of the following adverbs. Often, usually, sometimes, and occasionally. These can go at the beginning of a sentence. So, let's look at the example. Sometimes, I go swimming. Often, we surf the internet. Alright? And sometimes, we can put these at the end of the sentence. So, for example, we read books occasionally. Alright, so either at the very beginning or at the end. Now, let's look at an example here of how a basic description of a daily routine would be like. I usually wake up at 6 a.m. Then I go to the bathroom. I take a shower. I go to college at 7 a.m. I go to classes, hang out with friends. Then I go back home at 12 p.m. When I arrive, I eat lunch, and I usually do my homework. Sometimes I take a nap. Then comes dinner at 7:30. After dinner, I usually watch TV or check a magazine or something. Then around 11 p.m. I go to bed. So that's it, guys. That's present simple in a nutshell. I hope you enjoyed the video. See you soon.